Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to explore the Battle of Makariv. Whether you're looking to learn more about this topic or simply want to expand your knowledge, this content is for you. During this video, we'll delve into different aspects of the Battle of Makariv, exploring its characteristics, background, evolution, and its impact on the world today. We'll also look at practical examples and case studies to illustrate how this topic is applied in the real world. We hope that this video will be an educational and entertaining experience for you. Our goal is to provide you with valuable information and help you expand your knowledge in an engaging and interesting way. So, without further ado, let's get started with the video. The Battle of Makariv is an epic struggle that took place in the municipality of Makariv, in the Kiev Oblast, Ukraine, during the Russian invasion of 2022. In a 15-minute video, we'll review the crucial events that took place during the battle, which lasted from February 27 to March 25, 2022. Although official combat ended on that day, the bombardment of the city continued until March 31, and full liberation occurred on April 1. We'll also mention the terrible reports that emerged after the liberation, including the murder of more than 200 civilians by Russian occupation forces. In many cases, this included torture, the murder of elderly people, and people shot in the head with their hands tied behind their backs. We'll review the history behind the Battle of Makariv, from the initial report of the Russian column moving towards the city to the intense fighting and the heroic struggle of the Ukrainian forces. We'll also explore the tragic ending of the Ukrainian T-64BV tank crew, which contributed to the Ukrainian counteroffensive. Get ready for an exciting journey through the history of the Battle of Makariv. In February 2022, the Ukrainian armed forces were notified by Ukrainian civilians of the presence of a Russian military column in Makariv. This column was composed of 15 tanks, 25 armored vehicles, and 15 Ural 4320 vehicles, and carried heavy weapons such as flamethrowers, missiles, self-propelled artillery, and fuel. According to journalist Andriy Tsaplienko, the column was headed towards Kiev or Zhytomyr. Subsequently, a battle broke out in Makariv. Russian forces tried to advance towards Kiev, but according to Ukrinform reports, used women and children as human shields. Ukrainian forces managed to destroy at least one Russian tank, and eventually, Ukrainian forces fully recaptured Makariv with the help of the 14th Separate Mechanized Brigade and the 95th Airborne Assault Brigade. On March 8, after intense fighting around Makariv, a Ukrainian commander discovered the presence of a nearby Russian military column. Ukrainian scouts reported on the location of this column, and the crew of the Ukrainian T-64BV tank, consisting of Serhiy Vasik, Vitaly Parkhomuk, and Ola Svinchuk, prepared to face them. During the confrontation, the Ukrainian tank destroyed 6 Russian war vehicles, but a Russian anti-tank guided missile hit the ammunition of the Ukrainian tank, killing its crew. Despite this, the crew contributed to the Ukrainian counteroffensive and all 3 soldiers were posthumously honored with the title of Hero of Ukraine. Despite the liberation of Makariv on March 17, the city continued to be subjected to attacks and bombings by Russian forces. According to Kiev's police chief, Andriy Nebitov, the city was under constant attack and presented a high degree of destruction. On March 22, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense announced that Ukrainian forces had repelled a massive attack on Makariv. The city of Makariv in Ukraine suffered a massacre by Russian forces in the context of a battle. Civilians were victims of indiscriminate attacks and losses, including the deaths of 2 elderly people who were trying to flee in their vehicle and were shot down by a Russian armored vehicle, and the bombing of a bread factory that caused the death of 13 civilians. According to estimates, the settlement was destroyed by 40% and 132 civilians were shot by Russian forces. In addition to human losses, there were also cases of forced displacement to Belarus and Russia. The U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Bridget A. Brink, visited the city in July and expressed her deep shock at the stories of the victims and her pride in the humanitarian aid sent by her country. These facts are terrifying and go against human rights and the protection of the civilian population in times of armed conflict. It is necessary to investigate these acts and take measures to ensure that they do not happen again. However, it is important to mention that we deeply regret any loss of human life, whether in war or any other conflict. The loss of human lives is tragic and painful, and every effort should be made to avoid such situations in the future. We sincerely hope that the war will end soon and a peaceful solution to the conflicts that led to it will be found. War only leads to more suffering and destruction, and we should strive to find ways to resolve conflicts through negotiation and dialogue. As independent journalism and research groups, we maintain our impartiality, but we aspire to peace and an equal and peaceful way of life for all.